years. And that's due in large part that the district has received a lot of favorable funding from Indiana's Finance Authority, State Revolving Loan Fund, which includes substantial amounts of grant money. They call them forgivable loans, but it's really what most people would call a grant. And so it's money that the district does not have to repay, and which makes it possible to hold the rates where they have been. But then over time, obviously, costs increase. And the district had to, well, actually, City of Decatur increased their treatment rates here pretty substantially. And so that increase in treatment rates gets passed on to the district, and it's an increased cost to the district to operate. So because of that, we've done a new rate study, and we've got a proposed schedule of rates. And those rates were published in the newspaper. But the board can consider any rates. You can consider rates less than that. And I know based upon this most recent report, and I think what Ian's going to cover, you'll see that they can be less than what we advertised quite a bit. And then we're going to talk about that. And this board can set the rates anywhere between that number and what was advertised. So I guess without any further delay, I guess, Ian, if you want to address the most recent rate study here, the October 23rd, 2025 rate study.
Yeah, where's best? Up here?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Perfect. All right. So as Mark said, I'm not Ian Gilbert, but Ian Stahl with Baker Tilly. I'm a manager there, been here 3.5 years, roughly. So, and worked with the district starting about 1.5 years ago. We started investigating rates. So kind of backing it up here, our job with the district was to kind of holistically look at the project itself, kind of all the aspects of the SRF funding, as well as where we stood as far as expenses side of things and the revenues we were bringing into to kind of bring together where our rates needed to be able to fund this project, as well as our ongoing operating and capital expenditures. So putting that into a report, and I'll kind of hit the key points. It's a 20-page report. I don't want everybody to be here all day, and I can talk for forever on this, but certainly treat this as an open discussion. I mean, I'm happy to answer questions as we're going along. It's always good to get those perspectives as we're going through it. So I'll start out here, and everybody should have in front of you board the rate study report dated October 23rd, which is the most recent iteration of the report. So on page 2 is where I'll kick things off. So page 2 is a summary we put together comparing your account balances as of the most recent calendar year end, which in this case, that was 2024 that we were looking at financials. So that 12-month period that we had, a full 12 months of financials, compared to balances that are required and recommended. So I'll kind of back up there. When we say required, those are things that are account balances or fund balances, if you will, that are mandated as part of your bond covenant. So for instance, having 2 months worth of operation and maintenance budgeted for, having your bond and interest account budgeted for that next 6-month payment that needs to be paid, having debt service reserve funded. And then we move into the recommended balances, which are your improvement fund balances or your short-lived asset reserve that we need to maintain balances in for future capital expenditures. As well as your construction fund. So the culmination of that, if you can see on page 2, it's the middle bracket at the top. It's about 1.6 million that we've identified needs we recommend to be reserved, compared to your account balances out of the end of 24 of about 2.2 million. So what that tells us is we have a positive reserve balance, which is something that is healthy to have. Just like our personal accounts, we don't want to be running into the negative or running right at zero, because as we know with utilities, and Nate Ben can probably speak to this too, and all of you as well, there's a lot of unknown expenditures that can happen with underground utility infrastructure, things along those lines. So we need to make sure we have reserve balances to be able to fund those, as well as maintain debt service coverage that's required by the bonds, So having a healthy balance is certainly something that is recommended and welcome. So moving forward onto we'll skip page 3. That's all part of the same report there. But moving on to page 4, quick summary here of the project costs related to this 2025 project that we'll be bonding out for. So the total project is about $5.9, almost $6 million, as you can see towards the bottom there. That is all not necessarily being bonded out for. So kind of moving into the great news here is that we are getting about $5 million of that funded through the forgivable bands from SRF. And Mark alluded to this already, but a forgivable band is essentially a grant. So it's not having to be paid back, you're not paying interest on that, and it's a significant amount of money on a $6 million project, which is great to hear, and it's something that, quite frankly, we didn't expect initially. So kind of moving back a couple months ago, we were initially expecting, we didn't score in the top 10 or the fundable range of the project priority list of SRF. Anticipating this full $6 million would have had to been through the pooled funding, which is a little bit higher of an interest rate, still very competitive, but part of that higher interest rate program that SRF offers. We got good news a few months ago from SRF that we had been bumped into the traditional loan funding range as a culmination of project that scored higher dropping out just because of timing and not being able to move forward, which put us into that lowest interest rate bracket that SRF offers, the traditional range. So that $971,000, the delta between the $5 million of grant that we received, is going to be through that lowest interest rate loan that SRF offers. So $971,000 will be bond or loan funded. And on top of that, I know I'm saying a lot here of good news, but certainly on top of that is we also qualified for what's called non-point reductions. It's essentially septic relief. Reductions to the interest rate. So our interest rate was around 2.97, which is obviously a very competitive interest rate compared to where rates have been at just in the last year and what we've seen. And we were able to knock off an additional 50 basis points to get down to 2.47 of an interest rate, which is amazing, quite frankly. So very, very competitive interest rate. A lot of things that we didn't originally anticipate, and ultimately helps out rates. And I did a quick calculation, but even the 50 points of non-point or septic relief interest rate reduction saved us about $120,000 in interest savings over the course of the loan, which is something that's always welcome. So great news all around. So I'll kind of skip over pages 5 to 7. I can read through every single individual payment of amortization schedules, but I'm sure you guys don't want me to sit there and talk about each line of those. But each of these pages is essentially your 2025 proposed bonds at that 2.47% interest rate. And page 7 is just the combination of all your bonds that are outstanding and showing what those payments would be on a 6-month period. So each time that the payment comes due to SRF and I believe USDA we have for the 2016 bonds. So moving forward onto page 8 here, high level, working with Nate and Ben, we established what is called a 5-year capital improvement plan. So identifying what are those replacements that we're going to need to make as far as a capital expenditure and arguably our biggest ticket items for utilities. So establish that and kind of built that into this rate study to ultimately get to about almost 186,000, 187,000 of average annual capital improvements that'll be built into the rates for ongoing normal capital is what I'll call it. Your grinder pumps and making sure we're staying up to date with replacements, lift station pumps, things along those lines to operate the RSD. So page 9, moving forward, here we have the next expense component that we're bringing into the rate study. So we worked with Jane to get all of your operating expenses. So we were working off of the 12-month period ending 12/31/24, but ultimately built in the 25 and 26 budget to get some future forecasting perspective here. So kind of piggybacking off of that, SRF, when we submit their consultants report as part of the due diligence packet, will require us to look out about 3 years to make sure we're hitting debt service coverage. We're not going to have any cash flow issues and can support the bond payments. So that's kind of why we extend out over this 3-year period and have that outlook. So ultimately, building all of those items in, there's a couple I wanted to kind of key in on here, and I think Mark had mentioned it too, relating to the Decatur or a purchased water treatment. There was a significant increase that trickled down to our RSD, which you can compare your 24 to your budget 26 for purchased wastewater treatment. And there's a little bit of cost from burn in there for the Lynn Grove service area, but it's about $160,000 increase over a 2-year span for expenses that the RSD has to take on because of those Decatur increases. Which is obviously part of just that natural progression of operating cost and utilities. But certainly a big impact that we're having to take on here and account for, quite frankly, in our rates to make sure we're still operating in good order and in meeting those covenants and recommended balances and providing service to our users. So moving forward here to page 10, and this is the culmination of the report, the meat and potatoes of the report is what I like to call it. But essentially, a bunch of cash flows that drive us to what we recommend as these percentage rate increases to meet those covenants and to make sure cash flows are in good order. So ultimately, what we've done is pulled through all those expenses and revenues that I had just talked about and made sense of that in terms of a cash flow perspective. So I'll highlight here in 2026, it's the second column over, and then you have 27, 28. What we're recommending is about a 5.04% increase in 2026, a 5% increase in 27, and a 4.6% increase in 28. So a 3-phased increase to ultimately get us to where we can fill max debt service payments on the outstanding bonds and proposed bonds, meet our capital expenditures that I had alluded to earlier, as well as operating expenses, which is another big component of being able to provide service. So with that, I will point out that we are in 25 and 26, we are still anticipating a spend down of some of our cash. So we're not necessarily saying that in 25 and 26, we're at break even or a positive cash flow. As I mentioned in page 2, we had a positive reserve of about $500,000. So we're assuming over 25 where we didn't increase rates and then a lower increase in 26 to kind of ease things in, that we're able to utilize some of those funds on hand to spend down cash while maintaining healthy reserves. So
part of that is because Decatur's rate increases have already went into effect in 25 and we're November. So
correct.
the district is already 11 months of rate increases that we've absorbed. And that's why you're showing a reduction. Yes. And why we're going to see that we're doing spend out next year, even to catch up with the rates we're hitting. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So that's certainly something that impacts here along with like minor things like inflation. I mean, which is quite frankly not ever come back to normal after COVID. Nope. I don't think we'll ever see that being normal, but yes, taking all those aspects into play here. And partially due to the fact that I know we've maintained very well, but we haven't increased rates for 10 years. And typically what we see is and recommend is looking at things on a 3-year basis. Obviously, the RSD has been able to maintain very well with what you guys have done to this point and still have those healthy cash reserves, which is great. But we're not, I guess my point being that we're not just necessarily arbitrarily increasing rates. We're using some of that cash on hand to spend down on projects and incur some of those costs from those purchased water treatment that we weren't able to recover in the past year. So by 27 and 28, you can see about 3/4 of the way down. We're anticipating a positive cash flow, but barely over that positive cash flow, that $10,000-$11,000 mark to maintain the utility, keep reserves in check. And a key thing being here towards the bottom, the percentages, maintaining our debt service coverage that is required by SRF and our bond covenants. So always something that is very healthy to maintain, and we never want to trickle down to that 130, 125% for fear of not getting that debt service coverage. So this phased rate increase starting in January 1 of 26 should allow us to kind of meet our minimum requirements and then some, our recommended requirements, as well as the goal of a phased increase, kind of easing into those rates, allowing people to budget over time and not be hit all at once. So that's where we stand today, and I'm happy to answer any questions or walk through anything in further detail if there's any questions.
Ian, on your minimum balance recommended early in your discussion, the 1.6 million.
Yep.
How recommended is that? I mean, what's our fudge room, or fudge room ain't the right way to say it, but okay, you recommend that. It could be less, how
Yep.
much cushion did you all put in that? I'm not arguing that we shouldn't have.
Yeah. So what I'll refer to is your operation and maintenance fund, your bond and interest account, and your debt service reserve account. So the three beginning balances there in that column that makes up that 1.6 are your required balances. So those are the bare minimum you need to keep in reserve. Obviously, there's some ebbs and flows each year with kind of the debt service payments and meeting those requirements. But yes, that is your bare minimum required balances to be able to
Okay,
meet those debt covenants essentially that are put forth in the bond ordinance.
got it. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yep.
I talked to Dion earlier and he had a couple things that he can't be here right now. He did email me some different things that he ran some numbers on that I want to share with you guys just as, so it's on the record because he wasn't able to be here. He goes, if I recall correctly from the last meeting, we were looking at 5% increase to avoid notice requirements. If we move rates to 97, which would be the 98, I am projected that the negative balance of $3.54 to break even for the monthly payment standpoint. This includes all three primary payment components: bonds, sewer treatment, and operations. A projected break even for 26 is a rate of 101.51. Myself and him have reviewed primarily budget Jane sent me to see the projected rates for 26. My assessment does not include the increase of the bond payment for the new project. This also assumes that a 10% increase in sewage treatment in 26 and the remaining 4 in 27, which I know we're going straight to the 14 in 26 here. So if we continue with the 5% increase in 27, I'm projecting a negative balance of $268 to break even from the monthly payment standpoint. 5% increase in 27 equates to 102.86, and then we need to be around 105.54. Again, based on the same assumptions as outlined above. So that just also shows these are numbers that we have gone through. I know, I mean, you know, so realistically, what the district is doing here is we're trying to make it easier on the customer at a lower rate, where the sewer district is going to be not bringing any extra money for the maintenance side of things. We're actually spending our money to make sure that the customer has a nice gradually increase in it to where we're not just throwing it all on at once. So Dion wanted to run those numbers. I talked to him today about it. So, I mean, we are going to be using reserve money that we already have in our account to make sure that our customers aren't just getting a huge increase all at once. So more or less the sewer district's taking a loss in this
For 2 years.
for 2
Yeah.
years to make sure that the customers
Well,
get,
actually, it'll be a 3-year total because
Yeah.
we're taking a loss in 25 to
Yeah.
delay this. as
so
long as we
25,
have.
26, and 27, the sewer district is not putting any reserves. We're actually taking money out of our reserves.
To slow the pay.
I'd say something.
Yeah,
I
but
know 3 places near me that have been empty, not using the sewer system, but still paying in their monthly bill. I don't get how that works. I mean, if I turn my electric off in Michigan, I keep paying a base pay to keep it on. But I'm not using electric, but they drop the bill way down in the winter. If you're not using something, should you be charged full payment? I mean, I don't know how you can regulate usage, but like, I'm on a grinder. There was 2 of us, 2 of them. They had trouble with their family and had to move 5 of them in. So there's 7 of them, 2 of me. The grinder, I pay every other grind for 2, and then, you know what I mean? It's how we figure the usage per, well, that, what, you know, you got a flat rate, whether it's one person or 20 people using that sewer. You know, what I mean,
So you
I
got,
don't know how,
you
in
have,
my mind, how that is fair.
What's your name, sir?
David Tenoyer, I live out on 200 East, been hooked up maybe 3 years.
Okay.
And I have no problem with the county sewage if it protects our water for the future. I'm a hunter, I'm a fisherman. I see what's going on. I seen it when I was 12 years old trapping behind Adams Central in that creek. The school sewage used to run out there, and I seen all kind of terrifying things in that spot. I have no problem. But how we figure the price of, not, you can say I go to Florida for 6 months. I'm still paying 100, it's gonna be 114 or whatever. And I'm not home. How can that, I mean, like I said, most municipalities, or whatever you want to call it, if you're not using it, you either unhook from it or you pay a low rate to keep hooked up on it. Because one way or another, you're gonna have to hook back up when you get home. And they're gonna charge you to hook you up again. Okay, that's fair to me. I pay Michigan up there electric bill every month through the winter. It's not much, but I understand it's gonna be more to hook back up. But people hooked up this sewer system, whether you got one person or 20, all paying the same rate. And I'm paying every other grind. Okay, 2 of us versus 8. Who's using more, who's filling that thing up more than the other?
Yeah, it is, you're right. It is a flat rate and we don't have meters. We can't meter it. And so it's a flat rate and that's what everybody that's connected and part of the project pays that same rate every month, whether they're there or not. I get it.
I mean, why couldn't it be metered?
It's not practical to, it's not practical to meter.
What they meter the city, I lived in town for 28 years,
City meters based upon water usage.
water usage.
Yeah, what everybody out here that we're servicing, the district servicing has a well. We
Right.
have no way to meter that. And we can't,
Couldn't you meter from what leaves the house that goes to the ground?
they plug up and they won't work. Ben, do you want to address that?
It's unfortunate, but you're right. Most people in the city are metered water usage.
I know how that works.
But again, there's really no economical way to meter sewer flow.
Right, because you got full favor, whatever.
Correct.
Or
So that's just, it's one of the inequities of the flat rate system, unfortunately.
this one that answer it.
Yeah.
It just boggles me that, like I said, I ain't against it. I know the creeks and rivers are terrible, but there's a lot of other things causing a lot of it. We all do our part, maybe our kids and grandkids to have water you can fish in and swim in.
And another part of what we're talking about here is the debt payments are due every month across the district, whether there's flow or not, depending on those flows, and trying to make sure that we come up with an economical way to have that. If you were in and out 6 months and out 6 months, your sewer bill would be $200 for the 6 months you're in, and then it would be zero for the other 6. So you're kind of just budget payment is how this is kind of set up. Is the best, seems to be the safest way and the fairest way to try to do that. So
I try to compare it a little bit to when you build a house. You don't live in it for a year while they're building it. Well, you're still paying every month for that loan that you got for that house.
Right.
It's the same as what we're doing here.
I paid for sewage and mud using it, wasn't even started in my yard yet.
You know, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I get a lot of those phone calls about that, but when we get these loans, we were fortunate to get a big grant, but there you still have to get the loan. That payment that you were paying before the project was done, that was to cover the loan payment, whatever the minimum was for the interest on it.
Right.
And that's the state telling us we have to do that. That's not this board up here saying this is what we're gonna charge. This is all through,
open meeting, we can.
all through the state.
Think of you to, one way we could avoid all this is county mandate, everybody gets their septic pump checked and pumped every 2 years or whatever is recommended. Some people, never get them pumped, and it was part of the problem, or they have a failing system. Okay, the county mandates, all right. get your septic pump 2 years from now, whatever, is recommended, a couple years anyway, and you show proof to me from the guy that pumped it. Every couple years, show me the bill. That way we know each of you are doing your job. Clean water. Down the line. I mean, okay, I gotta pay $200, $300 every 2 years to get my septic pump. Well, that's great. You know what I mean? If my septic's good, and it needed destroyed, pumping this out is doing what it's supposed to do, and the water's coming out is good. I mean, wouldn't that have been simpler?
Well, something to
Tearing
remember.
up everybody's yards and charging them, I mean, hundreds of dollars to use a bathroom.
Well, something to think about too, just because it's black going in the ditch, E. coli can be clear water. So you say every 2 years, well, how long does it take for that septic tank to fill up? And then it's not clean water hitting the ditch.
Right.
Then it's your urine and regular water, soapy water that you can see. So realistically, with pumping them out every other year, does it help? Absolutely, to some extent, but it's not getting rid of the problem of the contamination into the ditches. So, I mean, that's the other side to it. Now, if you were on what they call a pump and haul, every time the tank fills up, you gotta pump it out, that gets really expensive.
Right.
So,
It's just stuff that runs through my mind, you know, like, why does this all start with, you know, sewage in the damn water?
You do realize also that we maintain that thing. You have no expense on that grinder.
Okay, I got a
We take
grinder
care
in
of
my yard, that little vent cap on, it's about ready to rust in half.
it. It'll be replaced.
And I come on from the lake one day and the neighbor kids must have been goofing around and stuff and the ground wires pulled off the electric thing that goes into it. That was one of my questions. Is that my responsibility? Or does the county take care of that?
what was pulled out of it?
A ground wire that, I think it's where the,
Oh,
you got the grinder, then you got something coming out.
it's a locate wire.
And there was a green wire right there, the ground.
Yep.
That's just a
Pulled loose, and I'm like, I ought to fix that, but
Just call us when anything like that. That's our locate wire to locate from the grinder to the road. We can hook up a meter to that or a locator to that.
also ain't nothing to do with the ground.
no.
No,
I just assumed it was.
but if you've got a vent cap or anything like that, those old ones that were on there,
I was only 2, 3 years old.
yeah, so
Like-
we're no longer using that style anymore. We went to a poly one that does not do that.
Yeah.
And since Project 4 now, we have excluded all of those and we're putting these polys on. I just ordered another 100 of them the other day. So we'll come out and we'll change that out and get rid of that.
I think,
What about those plastic ones that around the grinder pump, those plastic pipes that stick out? Inspection pipes.
Yeah, that's up by your house or is,
Yeah, around the
Yeah.
grinder pump.
you can cut those off to ground level. Those are just so say you guys have an issue because you technically own from the grinder to the house. That is your responsibility. That is an access point for if you were to hire somebody to come out and inspect that. We
Why
do
didn't they
that.
Put them flat to the ground to begin with.
Who put it in? Your contractor? So what he
No,
probably did.
When they put the grinder pump in, or contractor did it.
Yeah, so what he probably did is, so once the ground settled, then you wanna cut it off level with the ground. Cause once you put all that dirt up, it's gonna settle. If he cuts it off too high, you're gonna cut it again. If he cuts it off too low, you'll never see it. So they always let that dirt settle down, then you can get it all planted. And I would recommend cutting it off lower to the ground, so then you
I
can,
love dogs.
yeah. Well, that way you can put a cap on it.
We did.
Yeah, but just so you can, that's for the homeowner to, I mean, and normally the contractor lets you guys know, hey, once it all settles, you get it back planted, you can cut them off lower to the ground. They make different caps for them, screw-on caps, just regular caps that can go on, but
We took care of it.
yeah. Sounds like you did with the mower.
I come to mine. Your mower.
So, but yeah, if you guys ever have any issues or have concerns or questions, just give us a call, we'll come out. I mean,
I've been at the lake all summer, so.
Yeah.
Come home and see this remote
What lake you at?
long,
Do they have a sewer system there?
Are you on the lake?
Yeah.
Really? Well, I'm sure it's coming.
Well,
Yeah.
That's LaGrange,
after I'm dead.
that's LaGrange County, right?
No, it's, St. Joe County, Michigan.
Oh, well, they're different up there.
Yeah. It's probably gone.
Is that in, part of it in Indiana and part in Michigan?
It's coal in Michigan,
Oh, okay.
magic capital of the world. Or we call it the butthole capital.
Well, you're not alone in your concern. My nephew's gonna have to hook up. And he spends 3 months up here. He lives in Texas. So he's got 9 months of paying for it that he ain't using.
It's just,
And he's not a happy boy about, it. But
right.
it's,
I mean, and it's, I would have been, like you said, maybe 3 years out by Clem's Lake. It's already going up. Well, when will that stop? Because I'm on Social Security, it's not going up. I mean, well, yeah, but then.
oh, yes, it is.
They raised Medicare.
2.8%.
There we go.
I
You know?
feel your pain.
It's like working at Strict, you know, they give you a quarter raise and raise your insurance, or you get a nickel out of that quarter.
I understand.
And something to look at, okay, you've been hooked up for 3 years. The people that have been hooked up for 9 years, they've never had an increase. So, you know, what have we ever had in the last 9 years that has not increased by more than what we're even increasing? And we wouldn't even be touching this if it wasn't for Decatur raising our rates.
All right, so what's gonna happen when they can't handle it?
Well, and that's something that we're looking at too. There's a ways around that. I mean, there's things that they can do that can help facilitate their issues that they're having. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it on the news or whatever. I mean, our system is extremely tight. Their system is old, you know? So is there ways to eliminate some of the problems that they have? Absolutely. And that's what we're doing with ours when we have a problem. We're finding the problem and we're fixing it. Decatur has been working on it. But you're talking a whole town that is full of old systems that they're working on. It's going to take a little bit of time, but they're doing it. I mean, I know that we discussed at that meeting that they're going to have somebody come in and take a look at their system and see what they can do for future. I mean, everything's just getting bigger. I mean, everything's
A lot of the
expanding.
complaints, because I've talked to a lot of people about all this. You know, a lot of complaints is what time you have the meetings, as a working man has to go to work, you know. They would like to see them at 5 o'clock. So when they get off work, they have a chance to speak or hear what you guys are doing. Maybe that's a pretty good complaint. You know, I mean, I know you guys want to go home and do your normal thing after work, but one time out of a month, maybe work, come in late and get off, or get off late. So that other people can hear what you have to say. But I have a lot more understanding now than I did the last 3 years. You know what I mean?
Were you involved when the project started? When we had our public meeting where we answer the
No.
questions?
I was working 12-hour days and I wasn't gonna take off a day that.
Well, that was in the evenings. We did all of
Oh,
our
I did.
project
Oh,
stuff
that
in the
was
evening.
first,
Yes.
when you went out to Arcadia Village and all that.
Well, no, before every project. So if you were on 200 East or 200 West, so 200 East, so that was the Clem's Lake
Yeah.
project.
Right.
So we had that at Riverside. We had a public meeting on how the projects are gonna go and everything else. And we do that in the evenings and all those letters get sent out. Like Project 6 here, we'll have public hearings with all of the new customers explaining everything. And I always tell people, you know, my phone is always on. If you have a question, call, you know? I mean, this is my job. This is what I do full time. I know this as well as I could possibly know it, probably better than most that are in this industry. And I'm more than happy to come out and meet with you and discuss it and get you where you need to be.
I know I was brought up a lot meeting times. Like I know people want to be here today. Yeah, work.
And that's changing a lot too, you know, I'm with you. I understand exactly what you're saying. But who works 9 to 5 anymore, 8 to 4? How many people work at home? How many have a different shift? There's always people they can't make it or won't make it, you know, I'm with you. I'm not arguing with you. It's just different.
I had to take a day off once for ditch assessment problem. It's either find out what's going on or go to work and be mad with us. So I took the day off. Didn't want to, I could have been fishing around. Took that day off to hear what was going on, you know, and that worked out. Between me and the ditch people, ditch assessment or whatever you call it, where they cleared the ditch up. You know, everything worked out. It worked me taking the day off. I tried to tell some that scenario it worked out. You know, was I happy? No, because I couldn't do hunting one day. Anyway.
Thank you.
So is the rate going up 25% in January, or
No.
is it a gradual thing? Over like
It's a 3-year increase.
We let finish.
And what is your name and address?
No, Joanne comment 3771. I wait for my son. Plus we just woods.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the rate, it's in the proposed ordinance, so it's and Ian covered it.
The rates on page 11 are what what Baker Tilly's recommend.
Correct. It is, yeah, not a 25% increase. So the culmination of it over the 3-year period
Our
is
bill
15%.
says 25%. I don't see this 15%. I didn't get this memo.
Yep, no, so it should actually be, your bill in year one should, assuming you're at that $93, should only be 5%. Yep. Of an
Oh,
increase.
all right. That's, I can see that.
So what was on the public, what we put in the newspaper and stuff was the highest range.
Well,
We-
it says on the bill itself, I don't get the newspaper.
Okay, well, we had the public, put it in public paper and it had like extremely high rates. I mean, they were like starting out at like 114, you know. We can always go down, we can't go up from those on the recommendations.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
To add to that, just the reason for that is to get the SRF funding process. In order for the introduction, the rates weren't finalized quite yet, so they were inflated to be able to continue move forward in the process. Because if we were to introduce a lower rate and then advertise that, we can't come back and adjust higher. So it was keeping us to be able to continue to move forward towards this $5 million grant that we're receiving from SRF. If we were to delay any of that process and not hit the closing date of the loan, no guarantees that we'd be able to get that $5 million of free money essentially. So that was inflated certainly, and they're 5% looking forward to the future. So about a $5 in 26 and 5 in 27, 5 in 28. So
A lot of that putting it on the paper, a lot of people don't get paper. I mean, I get paper because I burn paper to support the paper for putting stuff on TV for sports. And, you know, help back. I put it on Facebook, articles so people know, and I told them to forward it to their friends.
So you're the guy.
The only folks that aren't on Facebook.
We have to put it into the media, and then the media is the newspaper. We have to put all of these meetings and everything in there, and I know a lot of people don't get it, but that is a requirement that we have to do.
When we televise, or we don't televise, we record these meetings. and
Yeah,
live
all
stream
these meetings are recorded now, and that's a new state standard too, so you can get on the county's website and every one of these meetings are recorded. It's full recording. We're live right now. So, and these are actually done live and then also recorded, so people can sit at home and so, but yeah.
And when you get off shift, you can eat your dinner and watch this instead of whatever your favorite program was. So.
Don't watch the news, it's depressing.
Well, don't listen to us then either.
Well, it helped to come, I'll tell you that much.
I suppose there's such thing as a senior discount.
There's so many people that are on a set income and you're jumping it up on them. You're biting into some, could be some medicines they need to take, and you're biting into it a little bit. Or anything can be done for them?
There's
My next door neighbor wanted, he forgot about the meeting today. And I know he goes up, he pays in person and asks about it every time. So,
unless, you mean,
is there a senior discount?
yeah, that, the only way to do that would be through the trustees and township trustee if they're, and I don't know if the township trustee even, they'll allow some utilities, but I don't know that they've ever allowed sewer district utility to be supplemented. So I don't know that there's any such thing. I mean, the district can't do
Is that
that.
on utilities, electric and gas, or?
Yeah, I
the
mean,
township?
if the township trustee can provide assistance, but you gotta meet the income
Yeah, well,
requirements and it's hard to do.
naturally.
Yeah,
I've never seen any supplements from the trustees.
I don't think there is.
And if we could, which we can't, who's gonna pay that? Well, then that $5 or $6 going up has to go up enough to cover those that want that discount.
You know,
Because we're not making money. This isn't a,
like everything else, you got
Yeah, we just end up
insurance,
shifting the burden.
okay? Me and you and 3/4 of this room has insurance and 1/4 doesn't. So they raise our insurance to cover the one that don't.
right?
So,
I mean, we'd have to put the burden onto the working families who've got kids at home and they're like, how are we supposed to pay for diapers and baby formula? I mean, it's that endless cycle. Right now, unfortunately for the district, we're taking a loss this year and we're gonna take a loss for 2 more years just to kind of keep this as close to tracking as we can with what you're seeing as the.
With the
CPI
customer's
increases.
mind, we're looking at this as a customer's base because of the question that you just asked is the people that are on fixed incomes. I mean, we could just say, you know what, we're just gonna go to 28 and raise it 15% right off the bat. We don't wanna do that to the customers. I mean, we feel customer service is a huge part of what we do. Now, we're not the most liked people because what we're doing, but we're trying to make it as easy as possible on those people. I mean, I see it every day. I mean, Jane and Jamie's our new clerk. We're gonna have people, I mean, we have people that come in on a daily basis or call in and say, look, I just can't afford this. And that's hard for us when it comes to that side of it, but our hands are tied. I mean, you don't go to the gas station and say, look, I mean, I need fuel, but it's $3.20. I mean, you still gotta have it, I mean, that's just the world we live in. I hate being that way, but
when you, and as a country resident now, I've been one about 30 years, but town before that. When I lived in town, I paid water bill, cover my sewage, cover my water, cover my trash pickup. I think fire department, all that was included. Now in the country, you get sewage. You put a big well out here, 600 or whatever for Decatur. I know of 3 wells on my roof, my house towards 224 that went dry this year, and there's been wells around the area going dry. So, you live in town, that's part of your water bill. You live in the country, you gotta put a new well in.
call
You know,
Decatur.
yeah.
Decatur's been replacing them
I think
because of that.
That's something Decatur's working on.
yeah,
is
but I'm
that
just saying-
specific, yeah.
You get multiple things for your money. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law live in town. Their bill averages $100. That's for water, city, garbage. And I think fire or something included in there, fire protection, whatever. You're getting a lot of benefits and all that. Toilet, laundry, shower.
Well, there's also, I don't know, 1,000 people per square mile in the city versus, so the infrastructure is being spread. There's more to do, more revenue coming in versus, I don't know, 20 people per square mile.
Right. But they brought water out with it.
You wouldn't want it.
No, I wouldn't want it.
I mean, that water would be so stale and stagnant, it wouldn't even probably go through your sink. I mean,
I got family that live in town, I know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd feed it to my cat.
Anybody else have any questions for the board or for Ian or any other comments?
I'm good. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. Anybody else have any other questions?
And sir, what was your name? I didn't catch.
David,
Or I got your name, but this other gentleman,
Can't comment.
oh,
Well,
your
sorry.
husband, okay.
good.
I think it was down, so.
Anything else, Ian, that you have to talk about or?
No, I mean, unless there's any other questions, that should kind of cover and give the groundwork of the rate study and kind of where rates sit today, so.
Board, any other questions for Ian relative to the rate study?
Is there a reason that you're not just doing a 5% for all 3 years and that we're stepping that down? Because the first year that we're actually showing a net positive is in that third year, and we're putting that back down to try to recoup that reserves that we're talking about. So.
Yeah, no, it was just to stay around that 5% increase. Originally, we had talked about, when we were going through our estimates and worked through this at one point, is trying to keep things around that max $107, $108 mark of kind of where we were at in estimate. And that's kind of where things ended up working out and then giving us those trending positive cash flows to kind of carry forward. So
We're in the positive, we're in the black as far as our revenue
Correct,
at
and
that
it's-
point, and that's really all we're asking our customers to bear is to get to that point.
exactly meeting
Okay.
those recommended reserves, and we're building in your MAC. The reason being in 2028, we're building in that max annual debt service that'll have to be paid. So that's no matter where it ends up on your combined amortization, if it was in, 2030 versus 2027, taking that max annual debt service that we have to hit as a requirement for SRF as well in the forecasting period. So building up to that so that way we're set. So that's what 2028 is accomplishing, and then pared down just a little bit because we are starting to work towards those we are adding those positive cash flows and building up or maintaining that reserve balance essentially.
Sure. Then a question for Ben here, sorry to put him on the spot. The comment was made regarding capacity at Decatur and their treatment plant and what that is. My perception has always been, say, for example, if you're at a busy restaurant, the owner loves it because you've got a lot of customers, you've got a lot better revenue sources, it's gonna be more positive. You may not like being in a busy restaurant, but for everybody that's paying the bills, that's always a good thing to see. As a customer of the city of Decatur, we're one of, if not, we're probably top 5 as far as customers for sewage for the city of Decatur, or are we even higher than that right now?
I think we're number one.
Okay,
We're at little over 7% of daily capacity. The next one is about 6.5.
yeah, so
We
as
just,
a.
we just took over the number one.
Yeah, we're now number 1. So we're one of the biggest customers, which gives us some leverage in working with Decatur as far as the revenue for them. The benefit for the city of Decatur, as I've always seen it, is that as a customer, as a sewer district, we're fairly consistent for Decatur. And as Decatur is working their rate structure out, having a large customer base or an expanded customer base for them is ultimately it's a good thing for them to have, is you want to use the treatment plant. You don't want to build like the same restaurant. You don't want to build a massive restaurant and only use 25% of it because you're not meeting your use. So for the city of Decatur, I think it's positive for them. It doesn't limit potential growth, yes, but this is part of the growth that they're seeing, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a net positive for them, no matter how people look at it.
Yeah, and whether they hit their new ceilings now with us, then that revenue is going through, or in the future, then they're gonna have to just do planning as far as what growth the city is gonna see. And we're gonna be hopefully the sewer district's always gonna be a partner in the growth of the city of Decatur, and with Burn as our other treatment partners as well.
I think we have a very good working relationship, and we had a nice meeting a week or two ago about it, and we're gonna hammer something out.
Yeah. So, and future plans, future projects, phase 7 or whatever is gonna be something that we're gonna work at in partnership with both groups. So,
Absolutely.
well, I'm glad to hear I wasn't able to be at that meeting. So,
The email that we got was that they valued our relationship.
no, I'm glad to hear that.
Anything else for me?
I don't think so. Not sure.
Everybody's got my email, I think, too, so you can all give me questions. I'll have an answer.
It's
Thank you.
Ian Fleming, right?
That's exactly right.
Ian, yeah,
I won't
Ian,
have to answer any
Ian
more questions
Gilbert,
if you
Ian
use that.
Fleming.
Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, if there's no further questions, here during the public hearing, I ask the board to close the public hearing and reopen your regular, meeting and agenda.
I make a motion to close this meeting.
Second. So Brooke doesn't have.
Yep. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, on the agenda then, might as well go through, we'll just go right back to the, agenda. So we had superintendent report.
I figured I'd do it next Thursday. You guys want me to do a full superintendent's report or?
Oh, sorry, it was just on here.
Yeah.
I think you've already
Let's just-
given,
yeah.
I think you've already given your report.
X day to that.
A little bit more we need.
Yeah.
We don't need to be here any longer than need be.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
How about, engineer?
There's really nothing for me to report either, other than, we're just waiting to close on the funding and then we'll get contracts together with our contractors and get going. But, this is moving really, quite frankly, relatively fast. Yeah. So.
Too fast. I'm not used to it
Go
this
pretty
fast.
Does it mean that everyone's sleeping?
But no, I can report, I can give a more formal. Like you got enough on your plate, Mark, anyway.
I got enough.
Need more time.
Ian, you wanna, when we get to it, it's later on the agenda, but when we get to the contracts, we've got to sign the engagement letter and sign the contracts for financial services with Baker Tilly. Have you cover that? So the next thing, then under attorney, sorry, Shannon, I guess I'm just going down the agenda here, so under, attorney on the agenda, we have now, consideration of the adoption of the amendatory rate ordinance, but before we get to that, we've had the proof of publication, so the notice of public hearing was published 2 times in both the Decatur Daily Democrat and the Burn, Weekly.
Make that a
And I'd
matter.
ask the board for a motion to make the proof of publication a matter of the record.
So moved.
Who am I saying did the
Okay,
second?
motion by Nate, second by John Carroll. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, and then the next item would be, we've got the final rate study from Baker Tilly, which is dated, October 23rd. I think, is that right, Ian? And we discussed that obviously at length during the public hearing, but just to make sure, I'd ask you to make that also a matter of the record here in your regular meeting. So we have that in our minutes of our regular meeting, that it's been reviewed and you've approved it and made it a matter of record. So I just need a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, aye?
All right, good.
Be
So,
easy for
sometimes
minutes.
They've never asked for it, but sometimes they want to see, they want to see our minutes. And so they want to see that we actually discussed the rate report. And obviously we have, and you have it, but it's in there sometimes. Just trying to make a good record. All right, so the next thing, so consideration of a mandatory rate ordinance 2025-1, which is the new rate ordinance for all service areas, including Project 6. That is, and it was introduced at our last meeting. The rates were published for the public hearing, and now the recommended rates for final adoption are quite a bit less. And I'll just cover the highlights then of this ordinance. And so this would be the final consideration of a mandatory rate ordinance 2025-1, which is an ordinance amending and restating ordinance 2022-04, which was your most recent rate ordinance establishing a schedule of rates and charges collected by the sewer district from the owners of property served by the sewage works of the district. And so we've got, in connection with our application for funding with state revolving loan fund and following a public hearing, which was published and we just held, it's recommended now therefore ordained by the Board of Trustees of the Adams County Regional Sewer District that ordinance 2022-2 is hereby amended and restated as follows. And all the definitions are the same except for under project. We've added the new service areas for this project, which is County Road 1200 North and County Road to 200 or County Road 200 West service area. And then also County Road 200 East to County 400 North and to County Road 100 East service area. So those project descriptions are added to this ordinance. It is then proposed that all customers of the district would be charged the same rate, and that new rate is, the current rate for 2025 is $93.30. The rate beginning January of 2026 would be $98 per month. And starting in 27, $102.90 per month. And then in 2028, $107.63 per month. Also, for this financing and for this project number 6, once construction begins, there is an interim rate which was calculated in the rate report and necessary for covering the interest and cost that will be incurred by the district prior to final closeout and connection. And that is as of effective January 1, that'll be $50.76 per month. Are we estimating, we're not gonna have a bill in December for an interim rate, would be my guess.
That'd be my guess.
You know, cause construction is not gonna start probably till after January
I
1.
don't think we can send that bill until we issue it.
Yeah,
Now,
so
I guess a question to that is I know, can we start those when the projects start? Because I know, what if a contractor doesn't start one until,
I'm gonna issue
May?
those proceed right after the first of the year in every instance.
Okay.
We're not gonna play that game again this time of saying we're gonna, delay. Right on one bit.
Yeah, we didn't have that money for the payments.
Right.
SRF.
I mean, Ian's report
Yeah.
calculates his revenues, full rates coming in before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that's gotta be some leverage for you to say getting here, right?
well, we got one contractor doing 2 jobs.
I've made it very clear to them that they need to complete both the time.
Why the rate so high? I mean, when you calculate that, I'm just asking.
For the,
Because our previous projects were
Like 20 or 30.
$30 to $35,
Yeah.
$20 to
we're
$35.
just using 50% of the full rate and kind of ease
What?
into things.
So I was getting ready to ask, so why is it 50%? Yeah.
I'd have to go back and talk with Jeff on that one. That's just some advisement there, but that's typical. It sounds like, I believe that's the typical process that we've been using. I think Wells
Okay.
County, off the top of my head, uses that same process with a 50% of that full rate to kind of ease.
Was it
into
50%
things.
of the full?
Correct. The billing charge is still the
Oh,
billing
okay.
charge, but it's 50% of that service charge
Okay.
plus your billing
Okay,
charge
that makes.
is what that rate is. So kind of
Okay.
using that 50% mindset.
Because before we were at 25 and $30 or
It was
35.
very arbitrary, yeah.
And that was just to cover whatever the interest was on those until the project was done, because I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of phone calls about this one, especially when they're not working.
That's not listed here in your October 23rd report, the interim rate.
No, it's only in the
It's,
ordinance.
it's in the ordinance.
It's in the ordinance,
We are
okay.
taking it into effect in that there's a line on page 10 where that interim rate is, it's about 100 connections, right? It's 100 connections or 103 EDUs, multiplying about a 12-month period of 50% rate. And it's about $60,000
Yeah,
in
here it is.
26 of additional revenue though, that, and that's
It's
going
item
to jump
3.
to that full rate of 27. So it's all being factored in there as part of the increase essentially.
Yeah, I mean, to go along with the rate plan, we have to have all the construction done and complete at the end of the next calendar year so we can institute full rates. in 27 for
Yes.
all districts, including Breckenridge.
They have to be done so we can collect the full rate in 27.
Correct.
Otherwise, our budget is.
Well, and that hurt us a little bit on last Project 5, because we had thought the money was gonna start rolling in sooner. And I think that's actually why we started losing money a little bit. I mean, I know I'm just a layperson when it comes to
Speculate.
accounting. We need to really, manage that better than I think we did before.
Liquidated damages would be something that we're gonna have to consider significantly, because we're gonna be damaged by them not being done.
Correct.
Right, so.
We've been very
realize-
clear to the contractors.
Good.
Unfortunately, I will add too, that the district does have, obviously, we don't eat into the reserves as much as we don't have to, but it had a very positive cash balance. So if there's, off the top of my head, if there's a month where there's a delay, you're looking at 60,000 of revenue in 26, divide that by 12, you get 5,000 per month on average that you receive. $5,000 if we have, that's actually a pretty good balance. I mean, it's not gonna affect future cash flows. Your cash balance will be starting a little bit lower, but we're still building in revenue requirements based on a per year revenue and expense to get those balances, so.
It was the same as before. We really weren't being hurt, just,
No, if we're gonna take losses, then I'd rather do it for the customers that aren't here to hear this, but rather than to do that to benefit the contractor who's
Yep.
2 weeks behind, right? So.
we're gonna make it happen.
I don't think we got a problem with the contractors
I don't
getting done in time.
No.
They got a whole year, I mean.
And it's
Effective
not, we
January
got
1.
one big project, the rest of them, the other two were what I would call a smaller one.
Whether that's for the month of
So
December.
I'm not worried about them getting it done. I would just, that $50 is gonna be a lot of phone calls that,
Well, I don't know.
especially when one project's not even
I
started.
think we wanna.
That's
get
where it
notice.
gets dicey in our office.
Well, when we
how they've
do those
calculated
meetings, we
that.
just need to.
I guarantee they've calculated it.
Luckily, it's not, everybody's just new project.
Jamie's gonna learn real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the interim, she didn't just quit, did she? Interim rate, $50.76. Everything else is the same. Penalty is 10% if the amount due isn't paid within 15 days after the date of mailing or the due date stated upon the bill, whichever is later. And that's the ordinance. Any further questions on this amendatory ordinance 2025-1? If not, I need a motion to adopt.
Done.
Tom Summers made the motion, John Carroll made the second. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Hey, what's
Okay.
interim rate
How many of these do there want? Just one?
There is
There
none.
isn't one.
Only when projects are going on.
Only do construction projects.
These are the same.
Each interim rate.
Don't put that in the newspaper.
Well.
Keep that out.
Then what's interim, how do you define interim?
Well, we're not doing that.
What's the deal with that? How do you define
It's the time period between when we issue the notice to proceed the contract.
Yeah, if they want to do that, that has to be some other day.
Just that construction period.
All right, so ordinance adopted. Let me send down, I'll make a couple other
Give me a
signature
copy
pages.
too, if you would.
Nope.
At least you get it
I
right.
didn't know if you were gonna vote for it, Jim, since you're the one ratepayers said.
Yeah.
That's why he's quitting.
That's right.
Mad.
Got to pick up a part-time job.
Yeah,
This one doesn't pay.
that could be a big cut in your income, isn't it?
Well, like I've always said, I'm gonna start prostitution, but so far that hasn't paid that good for me.
Recording.
Maybe they'll give me a raise or I get paid finally.
Just sign the paper.
There's four or five signature pages there, so one with the original ordinance, so you can start signing and sending those down.
Goodness.
What's next, Mark?
All right, so the next thing is the bond ordinance. so this is the amendatory bond ordinance, or this is a new bond ordinance, actually bond ordinance 2025-2. This was introduced again at our last meeting and is up for consideration and adoption here today. It's necessary to adopt this bond ordinance to proceed with the financing and closing. So real quickly, we'll go through this again. This has not changed, other than a few adjustments here and there for
Just sign a blank page.
numbers haven't changed. So it takes 25 pages to talk about the bond ordinance, and then we've got another 25 pages of exhibits probably.
I was gonna say, I hope you're not.
So, no, we're
I
not.
think we're gonna need to read page by page.
Yeah, we're gonna do the short version. So this is bond ordinance 2025-2. It's ordinance authorizing acquisition, construction, and installation of improvements for the sewage works system of Adams County Regional Sewer District, issuance of additional revenue bonds in one or more series to provide for the cost thereof, the collection, segregation, and distribution of the revenues of such system, safeguarding of the interest of the owners of such revenue bonds, and other matters connected therewith, including the issuance of notes in anticipation of such bonds, and repealing all ordinances inconsistent herewith. All right, so the district is authorized to issue bonds and anticipation notes on account thereof will be in the estimated amount not to exceed $8,520,000. Well, you're not gonna spend that much. I think we just covered in the report that the actual bonds that we're issuing here is 971,000.
Yeah, I think.
But it's authorized, this is typical, you're authorized to issue more, but you're not issuing more. You're only issuing what is gonna be done at closing. Anyways, then this ordinance recites all of the bond issues that the district has done since project number 1 all the way through now, and therefore be it ordained, which authorizes then the issuance of the new bonds, which is Series 2025 with Indiana Finance Authority, the issuance of bond anticipation notes, and everything else is just standard stuff. Bond sale, form of bonds, there's a form of the bond attached, which has to be signed. Use of proceeds, it says that we have to create a construction fund, revenue fund, operation maintenance fund, sinking fund, all of those funds that we already have, debt service reserve account. So all those things are set forth here, improvement fund, maintenance accounts. Any questions on this bond or new bond ordinance? Anybody have any questions on it?
Our closing date on the bond.
On this one, December 9 is final, but pre-closing is tomorrow. So basically tomorrow.
Who all needs to be at the pre-closing?
I think we've already well, but
You need
two,
to be
you
there
two,
together,
but for the call, you and Shannon and Nate. Because
Motion to approve.
I need a motion to adopt, bond ordinance 2025-2.
That's what I meant.
Yep,
Motion to
sorry.
adopt.
Yep, sorry, Jim.
Second.
All right.
Okay, motion by Jim Franz, second by John Summers. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
So I'll send down signature page on bond ordinance.
Don't lose your page.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to ask this, but can you send me an invite to the pre-closing so I've got it on my calendar?
Yes, I will send that to you.
I don't have to be involved in that.
I was thinking you had an invite to it. I was thinking that your name was on there. Maybe not. There's a whole bunch of names on it.
You look at all the 46 PDFs and put it.
What time is it? 'Cause I don't have 10.
Should be all right.
Yeah, me neither.
Did you send it out, Ian?
You didn't get it?
Yeah, I did.
I got it.
Oh.
Jim signed
So
it.
I can forward it on.
Make sure there's no.
Typically it's built. Yes, sir.
I can set it on.
Let's get the bond ordinance.
I thought I had something on there, but I
There's
don't.
That'd be a big one.
It's
Just got the signature page here.
It's closing it tomorrow.
Either of you could join
I know,
tomorrow.
I know, I'd sign and blank
Transfers, account, so I'll forward that along, just because we're gonna go
Good at
through,
it by
I
now.
know you've been through this process,
How long
but
you been on this
the
board?
closing letters.
That has
how
your
much
pay
is
scale
being
on it, John.
Transferred to the Bank of New York each month.
The what?
That has his
USDA,
pay
all
scale
of
on
that
it, what he's
stuff
gonna
that
make
you've already
next
been
month.
Oh,
through.
yeah,
And
What do we
Becky is
owe?
Go through
involved.
it and
Yeah.
kind of go through.
Becky is also on that. She's already planning to.
Perfect.
All right. Next thing.
Any more blank papers to sign?
No, should be the last stack. Those are signature pages for the bond ordinance. All right, next item. Then I'd like to have the board authorize the chairman and the secretary and any other member of the board to execute all documents necessary to complete the closing on this financing. Just have a motion to that effect for the record.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. That was by Nate and second by Jim. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
What we voted on?
For us to
Authorizing
sign
the
Closing.
chairman and the secretary and any other board member to execute all documents necessary for closing. I mean, did we have a vote on it? Everybody?
Yeah.
All right, everybody in favor. All right. Okay, next thing, contracts. Baker and Tilly's been working on this for a while, like we said, since last, year and a half? So we've got their, contract here for financial services. And, I think there's an engagement letter, and then is there a parity report also?
Yeah, there will be. with this
Okay,
one, so
I'll let you
different.
cover we've got contracts we need to sign for Baker Tilly, so I'll let Ian cover those.
Yep, yeah, so we have 4 stacks of paper, so lots of signing, sorry about that. But Shannon, we'll need you to sign, our contracts for the bond work, the bond and rate work, essentially. As well as the period of reporting that we're required to do since you have the outstanding debt. It's meeting those, the previous bond ordinances, meeting period requirements, some of the coverage requirements, but each of those contracts along with 2 engagement letters, because they come from 2 different, the Baker Tilly Municipal Advisors and Baker Tilly US LLP. Confusing there, but we have the agreed upon procedures are done by our audit team essentially for parity to remain independent. So the first contract for the bonds and rate work is 90,000, so 75,000, 15 for the rate work standard contract that we have for bond and rate work. Kind of the culmination of the SRF process, and the parity reporting is 6,500, so not just there. So that'll cover all the work to date. So that is it's a fixed fee for both of those agreements, so nothing less at that point, but kind of a high level of each of those. So I have I think, Mark, these are all the reports we had sent over.
Yep. Any questions on those?
Yeah, happy to answer any questions. So that is the parity engagement letter.
So you know, we sign that.
There's no like customer loyalty discounts on that.
You know what? I'll bring that up to Jeff and tell him that he needs to, he'll address that portion of it. I'll leave that one with him.
Yeah, I think I signed this already yesterday,
Oh, did you?
because I told her, I said, you need to change that to Mr. Shannon Scully.
Yeah, I told her that too. I was like, I sent him.
And she said they'll send a new one.
Oh, perfect. Well,
Shannon did sign the one, because that's the one he asked us about when I brought it up.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah, I'd
you
sign
already
it.
signed it and sent it back probably, didn't you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
the one,
Yeah, cause I
the
sent it to
parody.
you and you said, go ahead and sign.
Oh, the parody one.
Yeah.
So is that both the engagement letter for the parody and the contract for the parody?
I would, whatever you
Just
got,
sign them
just sign them all.
Just sign it.
Sign
We
them
can never
again.
have too many copies, I guess.
If this is all gotta be closed by tomorrow,
Yeah,
sign that.
Yeah, so to avoid anything, we're not gonna charge you $6,500 twice for two signatures.
I'm not gonna
I'm
sign
not
it.
gonna charge him, we haven't approved it.
Yeah, we haven't
Yeah, that is true. That is very true.
Have a motion to
So then-
approve the engagement letter and the contracts for Baker Tilly on this financing and
Engagement letter and then
Great
the scope of
work.
work.
So moved.
Scope of work for that. So 2 engagement letters, 2 contracts, confusing as it is,
Whenever
the
you
process, I know
can
is
scan
very
those things.
I'll second Jim's
Could you send me
motion.
over a copy of those, just so we have? I'd ask Mark.
All in favor?
Bond ordinance.
Aye.
Probably won't be today.
I'll make sure to bring up to Jeff the notice of customer.
Who did the
Discount. I mean,
motion?
I think that's an opportunity that's just lost there.
Yeah, exactly, you know, I'll send him to another meeting to discuss that and how that works, so.
I think I'm gonna get arrested here.
Yeah, I would
For like 3 days. Does this include my defense from your firm?
So I don't deal with legal. So unless you need your rates adjusted or any financial type of thing surrounding that, maybe bail. I can help
Okay,
out
well,
with
that
that.
might, your bill bondsman.
Yeah.
I would
yeah,
honestly
exactly.
think that as many of these as I've signed with them.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
would-
Yeah,
they
right
would
here.
get the municipal
I
part by
think you
now.
need to talk to Mark about that one.
Not me, I don't do
Many-
criminal
Well,
defense.
I-
He would criminally represent me anyway.
You're
No,
I would
SOL.
think
loser.
They would
If
have
you
a
fall,
Mr. by
Give me a
this
call,
instead
I
of me.
can pass the law.
That was one of my first
Yeah.
comments when I saw
I'm
one of
thinking about
those.
taking some scotch tape and ripping part of my beard and putting it on the paper so that they just see that.
You know what, Shannon, that was my first comment when I saw those emails going out. So I did send a message. She
Ben's had to
was
do
very
that for me in the
apologetic.
past, haven't you, Ben?
I've had to say a lot of times. I'll note that all the permits and all the,
Easements.
all the permits and all the SRF applications all have a Mr. or Mrs. Box. Check.
They don't know what world we're living
We've
in.
never gotten that wrong. I can tell you that.
Gotta put your pronouns on there too.
And I don't know if I should have done it.
All right, so
Here,
Yeah, one of them.
there's a date. I
got
just
those
put the same
approved.
date as
You had a
the
motion a
last
second
one.
on that, right, Brett?
Yeah, they
That's
want.
Okay.
I didn't hear any of it, but yeah.
Glad he's paying.
Who was the first, who was motion?
It was Jim and Nate second.
Jim and
Nate.
Nate. Jim first, Nate second.
That's what Eric told me.
That's fine. Okay. Next thing was the contract for Barnes and Thornburg for bond counsel and throughout the project, beginning to end, and that is 40,000. Need a motion to approve.
When he was
On the
stated,
wrong
what
business.
time did this happen?
No, you put today's date.
I'll make the motion.
I'll back him
I know
up,
that.
second.
That's what you guys are pretty glad
I'm
I'm
about this. I was gonna take it.
Yeah, that, so that wasn't, not sure on that.
We got a motion
That's the
and a
actual
second. Is there
report itself, but
all in favor?
we should-
All in favor? Aye.
All right, next one is Millersburg and Brown, local counsel and legal from beginning to end. 50% is upon closing, the other is upon, 50% is upon, notice to connect, total is 50,000.
So
25 at closing and 25 on those to
Just
connect.
cross it out. So-
That covers all legal.
That's what this one, Mark.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm cheaper than the account.
See, this is where my free lunch is from.
Yes.
Yeah.
You gotta be up by lunch, is the problem.
Well, you call it what you want.
All you gotta do is come in town, Jim, we'll get you lunch.
All right.
Hey, we're gonna have construction meetings now, and just make sure you're on the day that we have our construction meetings, and we'll take.
Well,
you
I
to
know what's
lunch.
gonna happen with Jim, you're not on the board.
Yeah.
Mark, do you need copies of these?
I make a motion to approve the legal service agreement.
You wanna make
If you want
copies?
them,
I'll
you can send us
second it.
copies. I don't need hard copy, so.
I'll just
All in
email
favor,
Yep.
say aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, I'm so
Jim
sorry.
and Nate.
Again.
Jim and Nate.
All in favor, aye was 5.
Yeah.
Or,
All right.
no,
Four.
4.
We lost one. Still have a quorum though.
Jim motioned, I seconded.
All right, and then we've got,
You?
Carpal tunnel.
we've got one for Commonwealth. Ben, you wanna cover that one?
Yeah, I also
Oh, yeah.
sent my post, bidding construction administration contract. Covers construction engineering, inspection, grinder pump station easement acquisition, post-construction startup assistance, asset management plan update, AS compliance, fiscal sustainability plan and record drawings.
Truck for Daryl.
So that's a lot. It's everything from now till the end of the project.
Big check.
I make a motion to accept.
He hasn't even told you the money yet.
I emailed it to everyone.
Yeah, I read it.
He wants to say it on the record.
Yeah, it's exhibit K 2025-01. The amount's $627,700, hourly not to exceed.
And that's with 2 inspectors, right?
Correct.
If we need one,
If we need one, you'll save a heck of a lot of money, just like we have.
we get Daryl back, we can do both.
Got a truck in there for Daryl on that.
No, I don't.
Is that negotiable?
All these fees are wrapped up in all the costs we've discussed.
There you go, you borrow a truck from us.
I can't second my own motion, I don't think.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So it was Jim and.
Jim and Shannon.
Hey, Mark,
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
sir, are you wanting me to sign there?
Oh,
I got some for me.
yeah,
one?
that, what does it say? Adams County Regional Sewer District?
Yes.
Mark has a spot to sign
Mark
and then
has a spot and then,
you have a spot to sign.
okay.
Let's make sure it doesn't.
What? Oh, yeah, don't make sure it doesn't say, well, it's not well.
I think they're closing
None
yesterday,
of this
right?
crap is that auto pen stuff, is it?
Don't have one.
Just checking.
I can sign checks, but that doesn't mean there's any money in the account.
Shannon, I probably should have, our contract, it's all built into the budget, so that's.
All these fees, they're all built in.
Yeah.
Right,
Everything is in the cost of issuance, that we had discussed a couple of, so you
right.
think it's going into it, so, yeah, it's through that third. Not using your cash.
You know what I said in my email, the good thing is it's over 80% of these fees are being paid with grant money. So, I mean, it's a pretty significant.
Okay, well, there's our rate ordinance. We've had that.
New
saved,
Year's
I'm
coming
sure,
up, Christmas,
so.
give us 20% discount.
I'm gonna get you your Christmas gift.
Oh,
I'll be with this one.
Less than that, it's not to exceed that.
Yeah, correct.
It's
That's
going to
exactly
be,
correct.
500,000.
Yeah, that's why typically.
Anything else?
Oh, no, it's always close.
They
Huh?
got signed
It's not to
something.
exceed, but it's always close.
Blown.
Definitely, it definitely could be.
They approved them, I just haven't passed it.
It's all predicated on how fast the contract.
Okay, Nathan,
Probably
this
had
is what
John's
we-
signature on right left.
It's all right. We've got, the minutes from October 9 that Brooks prepared and she sent out, right? And so we just need the board to sign these. They want this as part of the closing. So these are the minutes from October 9.
We approved those already. right?
Yeah, you approved them. We just need to have them signed.
Yep.
I'll send them down. You've already approved them, but I'll send them down for signature.
I can go back. You've got
That's
those.
just the minutes.
This can go back to them.
Hey, this can go
I
back
think
to
this
them.
is the minutes here.
I would just.
Just think next Thursday, you guys don't have to sign anything.
No, they'll have the minutes from
I know.
today that have to be. signed.
Jim, your signature's on the
That's all right.
second page here.
I
And
I
then
guess maybe.
John is on the second page.
Is it possible you already signed them? Maybe Jane passed them out earlier. Is it possible?
I don't think we passed anything out.
Just once, I would have liked to got on the front page. Now I'm gonna have a clean sweep, a career, never make.
You got next Thursday, we'll make sure that you're on the front page.
Yeah.
Hey, and speaking of that, Mark, next Thursday, I am not gonna be here.
Okay,
Making sure that's not a problem.
we'll have to check, make sure we got it.
Yeah, it depends on who else is coming.
It's just a regular meeting though.
If it's a
right?
regular meeting, I'm
Yep,
just making
Well,
sure
what we
that's
get
not.
to discuss on the regular meeting, I think we covered everything.
Right, I'll dismiss his superintendent report.
Who runs that next meeting?
You.
It'll be short.
I can call him up, get the report.
I can do that too.
Barnes.
Got the report last, do they need?
Get it whenever I call him anyway. There you go, there's
We'll
some.
decide.
Oh, here's something I should sign
between
maybe.
now and then. Ben, you wanna, us to have Brooke scan this and send it to you, or do you have?
Here's
Oh, you already signed one?
You can have to sign that one.
Oh, yeah, I just have to sign one.
That'll work.
Every other
Same.
sewer district?
Do I? I don't. This is actually my own story district. But I do help with burn.
Thanks, sir.
Water, sewer
Okay.
side things and some other things, but mostly just not a lot of.
We do all DocuSign.
Thank you.
You guys are good. That's everything.
Everybody's here.
Really? Clipping your fingernails in the middle of a meeting?
Sign the documents.
No, I mean, a couple years ago or.
Okay. You done, Mark?
Hang on.
Like
That's
me.
Service
You have anything
contract,
else?
we did that. Board comments, customer question.
Yeah. I got some paperwork here from First Bank and Burn and some of the other operating accounts. So what I just want to bring up is just ask the board for permission to sign the banking documents, Jamie onto the account since she'll be taking over for Jane. And this, we'll need to add her in the same capacity. So before I start. Want to bring that up for board approval to add her on.
Also, for those that have not met, this is Jamie Wetter. She is the new clerk, office clerk. She started Monday. Everything's going good. I think she feels comfortable.
Even after this meeting.
You want to, so I'll make a motion to authorize the signatures on this and add her to those accounts.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
I gotta sign.
I don't think there's anything else.
It's more official now.
Okay, I'll make a motion for adjournment.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay.